G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing today? My. It has been raining the past few days. It is good to finally get out and see some sunshine. You should not have turned into this lane, you donut, but here we are. Mate, how are you all? How you been? How's the wife? How's the kids? How's the brothers? How's the sisters? And the parents and all that good stuff in between? Mate, life's been good. If you're new around here, my name's Nathan. How's it going? Otherwise known as your boy Sergeant Wombat. And if you haven't noticed, we're actually very close to 2,000 subscribers. So if you're new around here, hit that button, show your boy some love. And without further ado, let's get into the topic of today. Now, I was contemplating merging this into one video, but I think making it into two is just going to be more satisfying. So, let's go. Today's one, it's a bit on topic of my last video from a little bit ago when I was out in Mornington Way, and that's about riding solo, okay? Now, some people do it exclusively. Lately, I have been. Basically, for the past few months, I've been an exclusively solo rider. And some people are exclusively group riders. So, we're going to talk about the benefits of solo riding and the negatives of solo riding, okay? Because obviously, there's a bit of both. Now, some things cross over and are both positives and negatives depending on the situation. And it's all up to the individual and how you ride primarily to see how it goes, all right? Obviously, my personal favourite thing about riding solo is the lack of having to monitor your friends. Okay, so you don't always have to if they're good riders, but the point being is, even when you ride in a group, you got to look out for your boys because something might happen. If something crashes or anything, you're there, you're looking away, you're making sure everyone's okay. If you're riding with less skilled people, you are sort of babysitting them, for lack of a better term. Whereas if you're working if you're riding in a group, if you're riding solo, you don't really have that problem. It's more freeing, more freedom. You're sort of just focusing on you and the ride. And it's just a much better overall experience. Oh, I have half a tank of petrol, that's not acceptable. Yeah, but if you're riding alone a lot, you don't really have to worry about doing anything. You just sort of go where you want, don't have to worry about wasting time, don't have to worry about rushing. It's just go at your own pace, and life is grand, and when you get there, you can spend as long as you want in the location. It's a good time. Obviously, it's more lonely when you get there, but it's okay. You can enjoy the ride. I think one of the bigger points of riding solo versus with people is a term of safety, okay? Safety is it's a two-way coin. This one's a two-sided sword, and that being scrape the peg a little bit, and that's when you're riding in a group versus solo, okay? If you fall off in the middle of the bush with your boys, there's going to be someone there to help you, and they won't just leave you there to die, okay? Now, when you're riding alone and you come off in the middle of nowhere, well, unfortunately, you've got to pull your stuff together and, try and hobble your ass out of that ditch you've fallen into or something, because if you don't have a phone on you or your phone breaks mid-accident, I have some bad news for you, son. It's going to hurt and it's going to take a long time. Whereas if you're with a group of people and you come off the bike, it's not the end of the world. Sure, it sucks, but at least you have someone there to take care of it. Now, if the accident's simple, you can get help picking up the bike and all that good stuff. But if say you have a serious accident and you have someone there to help you, it's great. But if you don't, guess what, buddy? You might be upside down in the tree with a stick impaled through your leg, and guess what? You're just going to have to sit there and smile because you're the only one getting you out of that situation, unless you happen to be so lucky that someone manages to find you. Now, obviously, those are very die-hard scenarios that are never happening on the average day, but the chances of them happening are still there, and guess what? Well, you don't want to be in the downside of that happening. Okay? Now, let's move on to one that happens to quite a lot of beginner riders. In fact, I think it happened to old Huey boy in his learner days, and that's when you're riding alone, you don't over-push yourself unless you get greedy. Whereas when you're riding in a group of people, you might feel obliged to sort of push yourself to keep up with the pack, okay? Now, in Hugh's case, if I remember correctly, he did this a little bit. Dark night, went a bit too fast for his own skill, high-sided, and good night, all right? Done cooked his shoulder. So, you'll see this a lot on the bike nights or the Tuesday rides, that's in Melbourne, that is, where you'll have a bunch of learner bikes trying to keep up with the big boys. Now look, sometimes they can, and it's not very common, but say someone's been a GP rider or a track rider and they finally got their street license, which is an uncommon scenario, but it happens sometimes. The point is, some learner bikes, boys, know what they're doing, but in most cases they do not. Now, if you're riding around with a bunch of squid missiles who know how to ride fast on the street at least. Now they're still not safe, but guess what? A learner biker trying to keep up with them is even more unsafe. So you might go through, we'll say King Lake or the Black Spur in Melbourne or Victoria, okay? Not Melbourne, just Victoria. Now, if you're going around the twisties and you know the area and you're an avid rider, guess what? You should be fine. In most cases. Oh, choking on nothing. Whereas if you're a learner rider and you're just trying to keep up with the pack, you run the chance of low siding because you don't know your ergonomics or your turning technique. In some small chances, you might low side or high side. Now, it's not as common, I'd say, with lower power bikes if you're riding at pace. Obviously, you can still have an accident. That happens no matter what the speed is. But the point is, it's just, I don't think it tends to happen as much, especially if your bike isn't as powerful. So you might probably not do a wheel spin. But guess what? These things happen. But man, when you're riding alone and you crash, let's just say as well, it's not as fun, but the chance of you over pushing because if you're trying to keep up with someone is nil. Unless you ride with a stranger, but that's still not riding alone. So you got to be careful in group rides because you might try and you might force yourself to go outside of your comfort zone, and that never ends well because you're probably just going to end up sideways on the side of a road. High siding is no fun, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that out of the way. I've never personally high sided, and I don't plan on finding out how it feels. But after hearing how it feels, I can tell you it sucks. Low siding, however, I have done that. I'm no expert in it, but I've certainly done it once. And guess what? It ain't a fun thing to experience, but it's something that we're probably all going to experience if we try and push ourselves when we ride. Okay, it's not the smartest thing to do on the public roads, but guess what? We all do it. We're all guilty, and we're not going to change anytime soon. And that's just the harsh reality of that. All right, last point I'm really going to make. Now, this is a bit more subjective over the other one, and that is riding in a group versus a solo ride can be more or less enjoyable. Okay, so I said I was going to make this into 2 videos, but I really think that I've got all the points over in one, let's be honest. So let's just backtrack and say that never happened. Okay, riding in a solo ride, it's always therapeutic, it's nice, okay? If you're having a bad day, a solo ride's just going to hit you in ways that you didn't know you needed until you did it, okay? So fortunately, oh god, I hate this place. We're just going to go through the middle here, Yeah, solo rides are therapeutic, they always are. And when you go from a solo ride to a group ride, the enjoyment changes for different things. So when you're having a solo ride, obviously, it's a bit more cruisy in most cases. You don't have to worry about anything. You're just going along with the flow, all right? Life's good. When you're in a group ride, you tend to be riding a bit more like a bunch of spoons, all right? A bit more speedy boys, which is completely fine if it's within reason. I'm not advocating for illegal riding, but we're not all innocent, are we? Oh, that's a nice wrap on the Beamer. And man, you just get off the different kinds of shenanigans, you know? It's a different riding experience versus when you're riding by your lonesome. But alas, these things happen. We're going to turn. This set of lights is strange. And a 1. Yep. Oh boy. But yeah, man, riding solo versus in a group ride, they both have their pros and negatives. I would argue there's a good case to make for both, and both of them have their place. You shouldn't exclude one over the other, because sometimes you're having a really bad day, going for a solo ride is the best option, and sometimes going for a send with the boys around the twisties is the option. So it's really just, it's hit or miss, all right? You can't really say one is definitive over the other. If you have no friends, well, that sort of eliminates one of the options, but you can always find a group to ride with, and there's always a group ride happening. Oh, all these cars giving me the heebie-jeebies pulling out like that. But I think that's what we're going to leave it at for the day, ladies and gents. I hope you've enjoyed. And, well, I think I'm going to just go do a record a pure sound here, which is actually going to come out before this video. But until that time comes, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to me down below on your opinions of the whole matter. I'll be happy to hear it and talk back. And as always, take it easy, keep it cheesy, and have a good day. Peace! Bye!